You're live. You good?
Oh, we're good?
Yep.
Good afternoon, VV Nation. My name is Ryan, senior instructor here. I'm filling for Glenn for today is Friday, so you know what that means. Not only is it one day closer to the weekend, it is indeed time for the mobile coaching app. Now, before we begin, please just type a 1 in the chat box just to make sure I can hear you, that you can, or that you can hear me, that you can see me, and that we are good as far as all the technicals. We'll give everyone a moment to kind of roll in here. All right, so it sounds like John said, can hear you but cannot see you. Can't see me? Hold on one second. Let's see if we can fix that. Main image is still showing. We're going to get that fixed here in just a second. So they can hear me but can't see me. The editor is working on that right now. It's Glenn playing hooky. Unfortunately, Glenn is not playing hooky. Well, at least he is from the webcast. He's actually in Toronto for the Toronto 2-day event. So this Friday and next Friday, I will be filling in for him. Next weekend, he will be in LA. So if you're in those areas and you want to check it out, some of you may be attending those events coming up. But yeah, so the next 2 weekends or next 2 Fridays, you do have me while Glenn will be traveling with the VectorVest team. Let's see here. I think they're trying to fix that. Can you still not see me? Just want to make sure you get that fixed. So we need to see the iPad. That way we can dive right into the software. While they're fixing that, it's been a big week in the market. Quite a few things going on here between IPOs. We had ARM. I don't know if you guys saw I did a couple shorts on ARM. Definitely had a lot of hype around it. We could see that price action. I think its release price was $49 to $51. I see it started opening trading yesterday, mid-morning. I saw the high close to $70 last time I looked. I think that was this morning in pre-market. Let's see here. Glenn has a great job. All expenses paid, I'm sure. Depends how good Glenn wants to eat, But other than the ARM IPO, we had Adobe earnings. They had good earnings. However, you can see they dropped on earnings, which is kind of odd because they released their AI platform Firefly. If anyone watched my video last night on the top 5 picks, Adobe was on the pick because they did release that Adobe Firefly. And I guess because I did some research on it for that video, I'm getting advertisements for it now. It actually looks like a really cool software to utilize when it comes to not just generative AI, with text, kind of like what you're familiar with ChatGPT, but also generative image AI, for a lot of commercial applications. So there's definitely, a lot of hype behind that new AI platform released by Adobe. And then, the big elephant in the room was inflation. Inflation ticked up this week, slightly went up, even core inflation went up. There was, if I remember correctly, 0.3% on the core. So no surprise there. While we're trying to fix this, let's see here. Yeah, I only see the VectorVest screen. Thank you, Roger. I'm trying to fix that now, see what's going on here. But just, let's take a quick survey in the room. Now, with inflation ticking up this past report, type a 1 in the box if you think the Fed is likely to do another raise. Let's be honest, probably another quarter point. Type a 2 in the box if you think that they're going to be done at least till the end of the year. Now, me personally, I was already, even Glenn had mentioned, we're kind of on the same page that we're expecting another quarter point. I think this uptick recently really just, solidifies that statement. Right away, just 4 more hours and it's for me. All right, so yeah, it's almost the weekend. I see a lot of 1s coming in right now. I don't think they're done. If they should have listened to Glenn 2 years ago. What's his famous quote? Death by 1,000 cuts. I think they were trying to play it safe because, as far as the interest rate hikes, We've seen that effect on some of the regional banks. It's a delicate balance. If you raise it too high, you can definitely cause some serious damage, not only in the banking industry, but the economy as a whole. But if you don't raise them, fast enough, really, what's the point? Inflation just continue to rise. I think they've done a pretty decent job. I think the biggest thing was that they were back. Can you hear me? Can you see me? They're still saying reschedule when tech works. Is it back up?
Yeah, I'm gonna check on it here real quick.
Fernando says now, yeah. So can you hear me? Can you see me? It's working. We're working. All right. They see me. They can hear me. Yes. Thank you, Q and Joey. I apologize for the delay and wasting your time. So at this point, let's just go ahead and get right into the software and see exactly what's going on here. All right. So let me look down at the iPad. One thing I want to notice right at the top, 4 chart patterns you must know. I am a technical trader. I love fundamentals. I definitely believe that a company should have sound fundamentals. Relative safety is good. However, I focus on technicals, and I've been waiting on VectorVest to kind of put out a course or a webcast on this. So strongly suggest, taking advantage of that 4 chart patterns you must know. It's a free webinar. I'm not even here to really pitch it. I just think, if you are a trader or if you're new to trading, you got to know chart patterns, because you can find the best stocks out there. But if you don't see a chart pattern forming, you could miss out on opportunities, whether it's a bullish or bearish chart patterns, whether it's ascending triangle, head and shoulders, things of that nature. Now, take a look at the major indices here. All the major indices are down right now. So let's take a look at the VectorVest Composite, or the VVC. Again, this is the 9,000 plus stocks that we're currently tracking throughout the U.S. market right now. Here we've got to take a look over the last 3 months of the VectorVest Composite. You can see right now, we just dropped below this level of support here, last week. However, the signs for concern, at least for if you're bullish on the market, the signs for concern right now would be dropping below this level of support here, which would be the prior swing low. Now, if we can remain above that prior swing low, I'm definitely optimistic from a technical standpoint, but realistically with inflation rising and, you can already see our timing indicators starting to flicker. I saw someone said the primary wave was flickering down earlier. That could definitely be the case. I'd have to look at it. See here, no follow through on the one white soldier. Nope, there definitely was not. It looks like, if we zoom in here, looks like we eclipsed today. See, the low today is 58.7. Yesterday's low was 58.09. So we did eclipse yesterday's low, barely. So to see a close below yesterday's close, now that could definitely be a cause for concern here, because this swing high would be lower than the prior swing high. Now, in addition, we do have the 3 and 8 day moving average. Looking at that short-term momentum, right now the 3 is currently below the 8. We did see a convergence with the price action yesterday. And I thought a lot of that, I saw the markets rally yesterday, and I thought a lot of that was the tech hype, especially with ARM's IPO. Adobe's earnings was released yesterday afternoon. I saw the NASDAQ up quite a bit. So I think a lot of that had to do with the tech hype. But, if we go back to the inflation, right? We see Wednesday, the VectorVest Composite did drop on that tick or uptick in inflation. For my more active traders, that, anytime you get inflation, you're going to get volatility, right? Knocking people out of their stops, of their trading plans, getting to second guess themselves. I think that's what yesterday was because of that. Like I said, the hype in the tech space with ARM's release, Adobe, a lot of things going on in that space. However, today, no follow through. As soon as the markets opened today, they were to the downside. Now, let's go back real quick. We're going to take a look at the NASDAQ Composite, speaking of tech. And let's just zoom in here to a 1 month. Or sorry, 1 week. Let's just do 1 day. You can see since the beginning, this morning. Let me take this off real quick. Oh, moving averages. Let's take these off. Try and get the stop price off. There we go. Show stop. Let me get rid of that stop. That's what was skewing the graph. All right. So we saw right out of the gate this morning, tech, losing quite a bit of steam. I was looking at AMD actually this morning. AMD support's around 100. So I usually like to utilize that for when tech tries to find support in general. Now we see tech here, the NASDAQ opened up around 1389. Now it's channeling. It's trying to find a level of support. You can see that channel right now. So we'd like to see some breakout. If you're not already in the market today, no point in rushing in, guessing, seeing what's going to happen. However, the momentum is to the downside, but with this channel, I'd like to see a clear breakout. And let's just add some volume real quick. We get rid of the earnings per share here. All right. So there we've got it. Oh. All right. So now when we get out of here. All right. So we're looking for the breakout in the NASDAQ. Now, if we scroll down, we can see that the market timing gauge is bearish right now. VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks at this time. Now, the green light buyer was up as of yesterday. However, we like to see follow through in the market. We can see just by looking at the VectorVest composite and even, taking a look at the NASDAQ real quick, we didn't get any follow through this morning. As soon as the market opened, the bears definitely have had control, pushing stocks to lower lows and putting pressure on the buyers. All right, let's see here. Now, as we scroll down even further, so we see that the confirmed call is still down. The DEW is still down. The only thing up right now is the green light buyer in the primary wave. So for the short term, we are still up in those aspects. Let's take a look at the green light buyer. See, there's the green light to the upside that we got yesterday, but we are not getting follow through. Now, anytime we get a green light, we'd like to see follow through in the market the next day. Now, what I mean by follow through is we'd want to see the market continue to rise at least by 10 a.m., 10:30. That first hour, that's always known as amateur hour. So if you just buy blindly on a green light and you're not actually looking for that follow through, you could get whipsawed pretty easily. We're just not getting that follow through today. So let's take a look at the primary wave here. Primary wave, you see that went up yesterday. All right, so today's low, as of right now, again, that's still 58.07. So if we go to 5 candlesticks prior, that is on September 6th. That low is at 58.12. So yeah, that primary wave might end up down actually. We are right on the teetering of that. See, we got a bearish harami according to Kamal. Yeah. But yeah, so that primary wave, that might be switching around. We'll have to see how the rest of the day plays out. But as of right now, so the primary wave is down. That's what Lee said. I have to pull the VectorVest 7 program, but as far as the app right now, remember, that's not going to be confirmed until the end of the day. Please show how you can click to show the primary wave again. Yeah, Robert. So on the Robert, right now, just to kind of break it down for those that might be new to the apps, I know some of us, are veterans. We know how to navigate. So I'm clicking on Market Overview on the left. Up at the top, you'll see the major indices here. And to the right, you'll see Advanced Market Timing. And you'll see where it says Primary Wave. Now, in order to get the Advanced Market Timing, you have to have the 1999 app. So here, so we'll click on the primary wave here. So primary wave is up currently. But again, it's not going to be confirmed down until we get that low. So, again, 5 candlesticks ago, that low was at 58.12. Today, right now. We're at 58.12 right now as the close. Currently, the low was 58.07. So that's probably why people saw it flicker, the primary wave being down. We're right on that verge right now. So this is the power of the VectorVest 7 system. Don't fall into the hype. We saw the market up yesterday. We didn't get any follow through. And let's be honest, with the interest rates rising, that's not good for the stocks. And I imagine the fear the Federal Reserve, is not done raising their interest rates, is sinking into the market. So let's scroll back down. Now here we've got the color guard. We got a red light assigned to us today. Oh, so you can see it down here, seeing the trend column. So for people that are new to the VectorVest 7 software, and especially the mobile app, the color guard here, I'm going to break it down real quick. The price, that's the VectorVest composite. Again, that's the 9,000 stocks that we're currently tracking. You can see those 9,000 stocks. That average right now has trended lower than it was 5 days ago, which was at 58.14. Right now we're at 58.12. So the red light is on right now. RT, BSR, we do have yellow lights. We see that they are lower than they were the prior day. MTI, 0.77, also trending lower from the prior day, and it's trending lower from 5 days ago. Now the MTI, that's the underlying trend of the market, right? Is also how we look to see if the market's looking for a bottom or getting a little top heavy. On the bottom, it's usually around 0.6. Doesn't mean when it gets to 0.6, just go ahead and blindly, start buying stocks. We want to see the market actually reverse. We'd like to see some green lights, a primary wave up, to give us a sense that the market is done being oversold. Now to the adverse effect of that, as soon as it gets up to 1.5, means the market's getting top heavy. So a lot of our customers typically try to buy in stocks, especially if you're swing trading, buy in when that MTI is low, sell it when it is high. Because generally speaking, that's when, stocks move with the market. At least on average, you're looking about probably 80% of the stocks in the database will move along with the market. Now the trend column, this is where it gets interesting. This is probably what most people are noting and putting in the chat box. See how it says down, down? There are two components. Now the first component is down. That refers to the primary wave. It simply looks at price action, compares it to 5 days ago. It is the weekly trend essentially. It's a 5-day trend, right? So that is going down as of right now. Again, we'll have to see how it plays out to the end of the day. But as of right now with price action, it doesn't look good, at least for the bulls. The second component of this trend column refers to the MTI. So that is also down. You can see it has been down for quite some time now. And the call column is also down. So if I break this down, for lack of better words, the first down is the short term, very short, 5-day trend, right? It's kind of, if you look at it like an ocean, right? The top of the ocean can be very choppy. That's where the waves are, right? Now the second part is down is the underlying trend of the market. That's a little bit deeper, kind of where the currents are. You don't get as much choppiness, but the currents can change a little bit, right? Now the call column is kind of long term. That looks actually week over week data, so 2 weeks. And that's, if you go a little bit deeper in the ocean, you're going to get a little bit less movement in the water, right? And that's kind of how I look at these, So if you're, a very active day trader or swing trader, you're probably looking at the primary wave, green light buyer, even the DEW, because that comes from a technical standpoint. If you're not a very active trader, you're probably more or conservative in general. You're more hands-off when it comes to the market. The confirmed call does a very good job. It can get you in at a decent time, and it can get you out, lock in profits. Now, let's scroll down. We see the advanced declines here. Look at the declines, almost 60%. It's at 59.1. The advances sits only at 29.2%. So a lot more declines in the market than there are advances right now. Now, we are going to jump over to the screener. Oh, sorry, premium watch list. No, sorry about that. Hot industries, that's what I'm looking for. So if we insist on being in the market, and the market is going down right now, at least let's see what's continuing to go up. Right now, no surprise, petroleum. I've been doing petroleum videos since July. Still very bullish on petroleum. The first reason why I got into it back in July, because that's when the OPEC first announced their production cuts. However, I released a new video on oil, I think it was last week. because OPEC announced that those cuts are going to go till the end of the year. So at first I was more short-term bullish on it from July till about now. Honestly, I think that video I did say September. But with these OPEC cuts continuing to the end of the year, I think that's only going to put pressure on oil for the next few months. So if we're going to look here, we see, you know, the hot out of the top 5, 3 of them are petroleum, right? One is food, being dairy products, and the other is office. Now, food and office, they have been in the top spots for quite some time as well. So if you insist on being in the market, this is a spot you can look. So, for example, if you just want to see the top rated stocks in the top industry, I just click on petroleum drilling. And here we go. We got rig right at the top here. It is up today slightly. It looks like it was up, but it's giving away some of those gains. We see nice price action here from lower left to upper right. Let's just click on the graph. Now, for those people who are new, who want to utilize the graph, down at the bottom, it says graph settings, right? You can change the lower indicator to these options here. You know, you have volume, RT, relative timing. Let's actually look at relative timing. And another thing, you can add moving averages. So if I just hit these little plus buttons here, we'll turn them on. So the plus or minus will change the figure. We're going to leave them on 3 and 8. Now, if you're familiar with moving averages, you do have simple, exponential, and weighted. Bill said, how about uranium? Now, uranium is still hot, Bill. It's just not in the top 5. That last time I looked, when I did the coal video, I don't know if you guys saw the coal video came out this past Wednesday. Pretty much I've done a video on when I was doing research on the coal video, I went to Unisearch and looked at delta. Now, if you're not familiar with delta, it just looks at the rate of change of a certain indicator. In this instance was price. Uranium was, I think, number 7 on the list. It was in the top 10. Coal had just entered the list. It was number 9 actually, and it was in a channel. So still those, you know, look, it seems like energy in general has a lot of momentum behind it. And if you've been watching the videos, a lot of that is geopolitical. Uranium, one of the big things there has to do with the coup in Niger. I know France gets a lot of their uranium from Niger, and they are having some issues obtaining from that supply chain anymore since the coup has began. I guess the new leadership, not a big favor of the former colonial power. So that's putting, again, upward pressure on uranium. Now, if you're interested in uranium, Kazakhstan is the #1 supplier of uranium in the world. So, you know, tracking any kind of geopolitical news with them can also give you a sense on where the pressure will be, whether it's upward or downward pressure on uranium prices. Now, let's go back to the graph here. Let's zoom in. Here is rig. You see it had momentum to the upside quite a bit. Jumped out of the gate, started around 860, went all the way up to 885. I actually did a triple top. You can see the first top right in here. Ooh. Second top right in here. Third top right in here. Hit that level of support 3 times this morning, and since then it has retraced quite a bit, right? So petroleum is the place to be, you know, especially if, you know, with inflation rising, right? That puts pressure on the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates. What do interest rates hurt the most? Growth stocks. What are most growth stocks? Tech. So if you're in tech, I know NVIDIA has been hot. Our IPO is hot. Apple, Tesla, these are big players in tech space. But with rising interest rates, you know, it can definitely put a damper on some of those stocks. Now, let's see here. We're going to go to Watchlist. This is how you create a watch list here. Go ahead, search. All right. So in the chat box, I'm going to take the first 10 symbols. and we are going to go over them. So give me 10 symbols. Bill, I got CCJ. Google, that's right. Any other stocks? We got URA in the list. URA. Global Uranium. Oh, yeah, that's the ETF. Yep. AMD. I'm going to use two hands here. Make this quicker. PLL. JNUG. MPC. We got THCX. There we go. Tesla. Someone put XROF. We can take a look at XROF as well. Someone's interested in that. All right, so we got our 10 here. We got CCJ. We have Google, URA, AMD, PLL, JNUG, MPC, THCX, Tesla, and XRO. Honestly, I like this list. This is a very diverse list of stocks. Let's go ahead and create this watch list here. We'll just do change this to numbers. 9, 15. Go ahead, okay. All right, here's the list right here. At no surprise, MPC or Marathon Petro is at the top of the list, and I believe that's actually one of the stocks I was in one of the oil videos I did, if I'm not mistaken. Now, let's put in the box, why are these stocks ranked this order, right? Why are they ranked this way? Why is Marathon Petro at the top of the list? Does anyone know? Which indicator are we looking at? How are they being sorted? Because anyone can give you a list of stocks, but why did those stocks make the list, right? And why are they in that order? Well, these are going to be ranked by VST. Thanks, Robert. I always like to, break it down because I know some people, this might be the first time watching. Others, they watch this, quite frequently. Now, you can sort these by other indicators here, right? Anything from safety, YSG, that's our dividend master indicator, CI from a technical standpoint. So I just always want to point that out. And in a lot of our list, you can resort them. You can resort the database. So, if you're focused on different attributes with a stock, some people, VST is a good indicator, but some people might focus more on safety or dividend. So I always want to point that out, so that way you can tailor the program to your needs. Now we got Marathon Petro at the top of the list here. Most of these tend to be up. I like the list here. The only ones below one, AMD and XRO. AMD, I'm a big AMD person. I know it's been under pressure lately. NVIDIA seems to be stealing the spotlight. And we got XRO here at 0.9. So let's break these down. Here we've got Marathon. So this one right here, trading at 153. If I scroll down here, we got the value. Look at that, undervalue. Just tells you, makes it easy. 205. Good upside potential here. Even if you look at our gauges here, look at that. VST 1.44. RVRS, it's fundamentals. Both good ratings here. Relative timings, got that momentum to the upside. And the CI, which is our comfort index. All the gauges look good there. So let's break down the chart. And we're going to go 3 months. There we go. There's the last 3 months here. You see that 3 above the 8 for most of the last 3 months here. RT relative timing. Look at RT. That made a good call. RT finally went positive. Looks like back right at the beginning of July. And RT has been above 1 ever since, letting us know that short-term price trend is in our favor right now. Now, one thing to note here, if you're still in Petro, you can see the pullback in oil today. Or at least in this position here. I haven't quite looked at the price of oil recently. I wonder if it's still above $90 a barrel, at least for the Brent. Anybody know? Is oil still above 90 right now? I think last time I looked it was like 91, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, with Marathon, just like what we saw with Rig, let's go to the 1 day. See how it came out strong in the morning, but by 10 a.m., it sold off quite a bit. Same as what was going on with Rig. So let's scroll back here. But altogether, I mean, Marathon looks really good. You know, that's its 1 year chart. Let's see what it looks like on a 1 year. 1 year still looks strong, you know, from lower left to upper right. Bill, okay, so it dropped below 90 at 89.69. That's probably why you know, a lot of people will freak out when it drops below 90, because we just got above 90. Let's see here. Let's scroll back here. This is a really diverse list of stocks. So that's Petro, and you know, sometimes things just naturally have to cool off. You know, it's been on such a big move lately. So if you're in it, stick to your stops. You see the 3 getting closer to that 8, you know, let the trade come to you. Because, you know, if you're thinking about getting into it, why buy it when it's going down? How much further will it go down, right? So now may not be the best time to buy, but it might be a good time to at least protect some profits. You know, you don't have to, just because you sell a stock doesn't mean you can't buy it back, right? Now, obviously, if there's a dividend play involved, you know, that might, you know, tailor that decision. But let's see here. We got Chemical Corp, CCJ at the top of the second on the list here. Look at this nice momentum on CCJ over the last several months. Let's scroll down. The gauges look good here. The only thing to know, look at relative safety. That's in the yellow at 1.04, but it still remains above 1, so it has a favorable rating. It is overvalued right now. It's we value it at $22.88. What's it coming in at? $40.62. So definitely greatly overvalued. Okay, so let's see here. It does pay a dividend. A slight dividend, looks like just 0.25% on the yield here. So let's take a look at the chart. We're seeing some parabolic moves recently. Let's zoom into a 1 month. Oh, look at that selling pressure there on today's candles. So look at that top wick there. Now that top wick brought us right at just below 42. The 3 is still diverging away from the 8. So I like that momentum to the upside. But again, if you're not in this position with that top wick right there showing that amount of selling pressure at these levels, that definitely could be a bearish sign. RT relative timing has been above 1 for the last month. Let's see the last 6 months here. It's really sustained above 1. Looks like at the end of May. So come the end of May, that RT really let us know that the short-term price trend was in our favor, and it has remained above then since. So let's scroll back here. Next, we got Google on the list. VST at 1.26, down day to day, 137.45. Let's see here. We value it at 121, so it is overvalued right now. The ratings look good. The gauges look good here. The only one is the value, relative value. Again, that looks at the long-term price appreciation potential. And if you're not familiar with value, I really like it, especially with interest rates more into play now. So what it does, it compares that stock, in this case being Google, to an alternative investment in a AAA corporate bond over the next 1 to 3 years. So it's going to give you a sense of which one's a better investment. Is it better to be with Google, or is it better to be with a AAA corporate bond, right? AAA corporate bonds, you know, historically, very safe investment, right? Right now, that playing field is even, slightly on Google's side, very slightly, at 1.01. Let's scroll down here. Dividend does not pay a dividend. I didn't think Google did. So let's scroll. Actually, let's go into the chart here. See what it's saying. Go to 3 months. All right. I like how on the last swing low here, if I put see how it touched that level of support. Nice level, retesting that, what was resistance, now support, retested that support line. Once it broke above it, 3 above the 8. I like that. But again, we're waiting on the market, right? Down day to day, you know, the primary wave we see has been flashing. Last time we looked, it was down. So no sense in rushing into getting this position. If you're in this position, you know, that 3 and 8, they work out pretty well, but stick to your stop, stick to your plan, right? Don't let it get emotional. If you want to protect profits, you can do something like a trailing stop, the 3 and 8, something more short term, but you can always buy back in, right? Let's see here. We got URA. This is the Global Uranium ETF Fund here. So I did that video. The gauges, so they're going to be a little wonky. With ETFs, RV, RS, they're always 1.00 because they're ETFs. They're not fundamentals. So pretty much you're really going to get is the technical analysis, RT relative timing, 1.6. That's showing a lot of momentum to the upside in the uranium space. CI, 0.76. If you're not familiar with CI, I like to call it the Rocky Balboa indicator, right? Because it's, if a stock or ETF takes a hit, how likely is it to come back and continue to fight or continue to grow, right? Uranium been on with a 0.76 rating. I could see that has had some issues coming back. But let's click on the graph here. I saw a big gap up. Just, yep, there it is. 2 days ago, or yesterday's candlestick was the gap up. We're seeing the 3 above the 8 here. I did that video about a week ago. I think I was trading around $24 during that video. Right now, we see that top wick here showing the selling pressure coming along. RT relative timing has been favorable since the last 3 months, since the beginning of July. So RT still above 1, right? We're still seeing momentum to the upside. Now, if you're not already in this position, today probably, I'd like to see that top wick taken out. Otherwise, finding a level support or or if it does pull back, finding a level support or finding a new swing low would be an ideal entry time. But yeah, you can see a lot of momentum being placed on uranium right now in that ETF. Here we got the cannabis. I don't know if you guys saw my short this morning that I did. That was on Tilray. Tilray, obviously did the acquisition of Anheuser-Busch. They did 8 brands. They're trying to expand into the craft beer space. This actually makes them the 5th largest craft beer company in the United States. And their goal is to, I guess, use that infrastructure. Utilize that infrastructure to infuse these drinks with, THC, CBD, all that good stuff. But from the article I shared in the short, and why I'm still, bullish on marijuana stocks in general, it looks like the Health and Human Services Department, has made a request to the DEA to schedule it or change the scheduling of that drug from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. I'm not 100% sure of all those regulations, but I know with the Schedule 3, it's a lot less regulated, and I'm pretty sure that kind of puts it in the space of like alcohol, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me in the comments if that's not true. But anyways, the idea is that legislation is going more towards nationwide legalization. I know a lot of these companies have been kind of, pump and dumps based on, election cycles and legislation passed. But at what point do these companies stop being pump and dumps based on that information if it's just legalized, right? And Tilray's a big player in that space. And this one here, THCX, let's take a look at this. Is the ETF, so this plays the space in general. So if we look here, you can see the RV, RS, again, those are going to be 0 because those are the fundamentals. RT, that's what we're looking for here. 1.54, right? So it's got momentum right now. Now just be careful because that CI index, 0.43, that momentum may not last very long, right? All right, scroll down here. There's actually a dividend yield on this too. The dividend yield, 0.12%. Kind of surprised that there is a dividend. Let's see here. THCX, this is over the last 3 months. Look at that, continuing to break out. Just broke out of this last level of resistance, becoming support now. Would like to see these top wicks taken out, seeing that momentum continue to the upside. However, look at that, 3 is above the 8, so momentum continues to the upside. RT, so you're back in August. Looks like RT went back above 1 and has remained above 1, showing that short-term price trend is to the upside right now. So let's go down to the next one. We got Tesla on the list. Right now it's at 276. We value at 119, so it is greatly overvalued by our metrics. All the indicators are above 1 except for CI or Comfort Index at 0.35. And that's because you see this prior high back in September 2022. We've yet to beat that. That's probably what's causing that CI to be favorable. It's very unfavorable right now because we just haven't recovered from those highs. So let's zoom into the graph here. We got 3 months. Now, right now, we're trading just above 270. We did get the gap up a couple days ago. 3 is above the 8. I like that. The momentum is to the upside. Resistance is going to come into play right around $300 at this prior swing high. So keep an eye on that, right? Now, if you're a short-term trader, we still have some room to the upside until that prior swing high. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little retracement there or a straight breakthrough. Right? But just, take note, take caution that closer to get 300, you may want to keep an eye on this. Now let's zoom back out here. Next, we've got PLL. All right, Piedmont Lithium. Now, lithium is on my radar right now. The price action here, it's lower than it was 12 months ago. We have the sell rating on it right now. We value it at $94. It's trading at $45. So that's one good thing. It looks like a good value play here. A lot of upside potential according to that value. If we look at the gauges, everything is below 1 except relative value. It's safety, it's relative timing, it's in a downtrend right now. No dividend yield here. So let's scroll up. So there's not really much. Let's see from a technical standpoint. All right, so from a technical standpoint, it looks like a bottom fishing play. At least if you're not already in it. If you're in it, at some point you got to cut your losses because you went from this thing was closer to $70, and now it's trading at what is that, about $45, $46? Yeah, $45.91 as of right now. RT is below 1. I'd like to see it break this level of resistance here. If we can get a clear break on this level of resistance with some strong volume showing conviction, not a little weak volume, but some strong volume showing that conviction, this might actually be a really good play because look at that. The next level of resistance doesn't come in until closer to $56. So let's go to the next one here. Here we got JNUG. Again, this plays the field space of gold. As far as I know, this is a triple leverage. How we can check that? If I scroll, let's scroll down here. All right, so there is a dividend on this. Look at that dividend yield just below 1%. Relative timing, it is above 1 right now, 1.03. So this might be a recent momentum play. Let's see here. Yep, RT just crossed back above 1. I'd like to see it break the swing high here. This is putting around $34, this level of resistance here. We're getting close to that level of resistance. I'd like to see that prior swing high broken. We're not quite there yet. So if you're in this position, the 3 is above the 8, so no point rushing to sell it now. It's already been on the downtrend. However, if you are a short-term player, you still have momentum to the upside right now. Now, in addition, with interest rates rising, looks like gold liked that news, liked what Federal Reserve might potentially be doing because it's been on the up move since inflation has been rising again. Now let's go to the next one here. AMD, the second to the bottom of the list. We got $102.85. Ooh, we're getting close to that level of support of 100. We've only valued it at $30, so greatly overvalued. A lot of AI tech stocks tend to be overvalued right now with the AI hype. Now, all the indicators are mixed right now. We look at this relative value, 0.36, no good. Relative safety, very high relative safety. Now, relative safety just speaks to the consistency of the company's financials, right, and its earnings. So, of all this, AMD has strong fundamentals as far as its earnings, its consistency of those earnings. Now, its momentum is to the downside. However, look at the CI here, right, at 1.17. So, again, going back to that analogy, Rocky Balboa, AMD has historically, when it takes a hit, it likes to come back and continue to grow, at least as far as its price action, right? We see that with the 1.17 CI rating. Now, no dividend for AMD. Now let's scroll up. Let's take a look at the chart. This is over the last 3 months here. Looks like this level here has been pretty crucial. My fingers just won't touch it. There we go, finally. There we go. Now that's around the 109 level. That's where the level resistance comes into play. So if you're not already in it, I'd like to see it break back above that 109 level to show momentum to the upside, break this prior swing high that we had of yesterday. That's where the swing high was. But today, big sell-off there. The open was 106. The low was 101.99. So it looks like AMD could be in trouble here. Again, interest rates affecting tech companies. No bueno. Here we got XRO. XRO Technologies coming at 1.68. Our stop price on is at 1.57. So we are close to the sell rating. We're within, 11 cents of that sell rating, right? It is overvalued. We only valued at 27 cents. If we look at the gauges here, all the gauges except for RT and CI. So from a fundamental standpoint, if we look at the RV and RS, below 1. Fundamentals are weak. But if we look at the technicals, right? Look at the RT, 1.19. The CI, 1.41. The technicals are in our favor. So this is more of a technical trade right now than anything. Look, no dividend. So let's take a look at the chart here. EPS, I do like the EPS starting to rise here. Hopefully they can become profitable. And let's go to a 1 month chart. So there's the 1 month chart. Actually, let's go to a 1 year chart. I want to see the big picture here. So we saw the momentum in the first half of the year. Got it up to almost 240. Since then, that momentum has waned. We see RT relative timing. Actually, look at RT relative timing. We're going to zoom back in 3 months here. Since the end of August, RT is actually back into positive territory, showing that that short-term price trend is in our favor. So this position right here, if you're in it, the 3 is above the 8, so no rush to sell. However, yeah, look at that. 3 touched the 8, and then they started diverging away from each other again as of with yesterday's candlestick. I'd like to see a break above this level right here to really get some confirmation. That looks about the 175 level, and some good volume on there for that conviction. Even though the 3 is above the 8 right now, we are getting lower lows, so we're technically in a downtrend right now. So I wouldn't be in a big rush to jump in this. I'd rather wait the 5 cents to get some confirmation to the upside, or you could tiptoe into that position. But otherwise, the RT above 1 right now, I'm favorable. If you're in the position, no rush to sell it. Always, stick to your initial plan, what stops you had into place. Okay. Now it is almost 1 o'clock, so we're gonna wrap this up. I see. We got the 10 stocks there. Let's go back to the color guard here. See what the major indices are doing. Yeah, so the VectorVest composite is still at 58.11. That puts us in that primary wave down territory. You see the trend column here? The first component staying down. Now you're not going to get a primary wave down here until it's actually confirmed. And it's not going to be confirmed until the market closes with it, right? So we're on that, flickering. You may, depending on what the market does, you may see it flicker some more, but we're going to get confirmation at the end of the day. Now, other than that, let's go back into the NASDAQ here. I see NASDAQ on the rise. Let's go back to the 1 day. All right, so we see that breakout was to the upside. Remember I told you it was channeling earlier when we looked? We could see the channel here across the top. It looks like it retested that channel just as of about 5-6 minutes ago. And then now it's off to the races. That's why you want to wait for the breakout, right? Because that breakout gives us confirmation. I even like waiting for the retest. I kind of refer to it as an anchor, because if there's not a retest typically, at least from a day trading standpoint, you may not get a huge move. But if you get a strong retest and some strong volume, pushing it the other way, that's usually going to set you up with a pretty big play here. But we see it broke out to the upside of this channel. Now let's see what the VectorVest composite is doing here. VectorVest composite Still looks like it just wants to channel here. It is actually lower than it was when we first started this at noon. If we look here, at noon, the high was 58.12. Right now, it's at 58.11. So it's teeter-tottering around. We saw the low come in at 5.07. So again, the primary wave, that's going to be the big question of the day. Is that going to change, right? And we're already seeing the red light appear in the price column of the VectorVest composite here. It's at 58.1 right now, 58.10. So we're seeing this color guard. Look at it. It looks like a Christmas tree right now. You got green, yellows, reds. Who knows what's going to happen? That's why when inflation comes out, I like to see, wait for the dust to settle, right? Because otherwise, you're pretty much just gambling, especially, if you're a longer term trader, a more passive trader, and you haven't, already protected profits before a big like inflation release or something along those lines, a lot of times you just get stopped out afterwards. That volatility kicks in. The market makers, they see where the orders are at, the stops are at, and then, they'll kick people out, and then the market will just kind of keep moving and leave you behind. So that's why I like to, either take your profits before and then just get back in once the dust settles, or just wait till the dust settles, right? Unless it's moving too much for, in your threshold of pain is being met. Now, from there, let's see here. Oh, yes, I did want to go back to this right here. Okay, so this actually changed, but at the top, we're going to be having a chart pattern free webcast. All right, the details on that will be out soon. Definitely, check our Facebook page or our website. You can click on the education tab and get more information on that webcast. But if you're trying to become a more active, a more technical trader, chart patterns is definitely something you want to know. Now, again, my name is Ryan. It's been a wonderful day giving you today's presentation. Again, enjoy your weekend. Be safe out there, VV Nation, and I will see you next Friday. Take care.